X-Men number 13, X-Manhunt, part 4 of 7. Let's get into it. The X-Men's former mentor, Professor Charles Xavier, received a psychic distress call from his daughter Xandra, Empress of the alien Shi'ar Empire. Xavier then broke out of Greymalkin prison. He's also suffering from a mutant brain tumor that's affecting his telepathic powers, but he has refused to accept this truth. The various X-Men remain divided over whether to aid or apprehend Xavier. He sought refuge with Storm at her Storm Sanctuary. When Cyclops and his team of X-Men arrived to recapture Xavier, Storm, utilizing new cosmic powers, easily defeated them, badly injuring Cyclops. But Beast infiltrated the engine room of Storm Sanctuary, only to be discovered by Xavier. X-Manhunt, Chapter 4, Gods and Monsters. San Francisco Bay. No. Utopia. No. New Time. Yet another mutant homeland shattered.
We've lost McCoy. Kemper, how's Scott? I'm converting the frost to warmth, but it's delicate work. What was that, Psylocke? Since when the storm have that much juice? I don't know, but San Francisco is suffering from Xavier's psychic bleed. In her wisdom, Storm has flown an omega psychic contagion over a densely populated area. Make Scott comfortable. Magic, prepare to move us. Storm has given shelter to a man who stole my mind and will in Greymalkin. And I will not let that pass.
Thundercloud, Storm's mobile base, 1,000 feet up. Henry, I simply cannot have you destroying the Thundercloud. As much as you and I might disagree about what I'm doing, I have responsibilities. What is this? Like a little knot in your mind.
I installed Psycoms in everyone's brains, Chuck, a limited telepathy subroutine that uses my brain as a hub, self-sustaining so I don't have to pay much attention to it.
Oh, Quentin, you always were extremely clever, even as a student. Has Scott sent you to clip my wings? Telepath to telepath.
Omega to Omega. I physically inoculated our X-Men against your telepathic bleed, Chuck, but I can't do that to everyone in San Francisco, who you're driving insane. So I have to cut it off at the source.
Have at it then, you, because I will not be stopped. Lobby.
You are beaten, Juggernaut, but you still rise.
What? You think this is the worst beating I have taken? Now, my old man, boy, he can lay a beating. Hit me so hard, I think that went colorblind one time. You think I'm a monster? Who do you think made me one? Clatter, clatter, clatter. So if you think you can top Kurt Marco for punishment, you've got some catching up to do, lady. Come on then. I can take it. Factory, Merle, Alaska.
I should be there. We all should be there.
Zon, you have a black hole for a brain. If Charles' psychic contagion induced you to remove your helmet, it would be catastrophic. And Ben, I think we can all agree that one assault on San Francisco by your thought-formed alien feet was enough. Furthermore, all of a sudden, magic appears through a portal.
Yoink!
What the devil? Magic quickly takes Magneto's helmet and disappears back into a portal. Thundercloud engine room.
Welcome back, Hank.
Magic is able to block Professor Xavier's control over Beast. What? Oh God, it's Quentin fighting Charles.
Yup, and now it is your problem because I have somewhere else to be.
We jump into the minds of the fighting telepaths, the Xavier Institute for Higher Learning. Attention please, class. An Omega mutant is classified as having no upper limit to their power. Therefore, it would follow that any conflict between Omega mutants with the same power could only end in one way, a stalemate. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Quire? And we see a room full of multiple Xaviers staring back at him.
Oh God, oh God!
The answer, of course, is that if two Omega telepaths were perfectly matched in power, like you and I, for instance, then the other variables are what would determine the winner in any such conflict, such as experience. As all the other Xaviers turn on Omega. Back at the lobby. Is that all you got?
My wings can strip the flesh from your bones, eh? When it's just air moving around, And what moves it? Temperature. You control weather. I control what makes weather. I control far more than winds. And I do not care what you say. Oh, you got swords? I love swords. Sarino Storm are swords. How you doing, Kane?
Broke my helmet.
Your arm is pointed to your sword, you idiot. Remember? Summit it again.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You see, I remember who you were before, Quentin. Before the hair, before the clothes, before the revolutionary posturing. Just a very cleverly, very lonely boy. A boy who was invisible. A boy who cut himself on the sharp edges of the empty place in the puzzle he tried to fit himself into. This need not go any further, Quentin. I take no pleasure in any of this. You can surrender at any time. But until you do, I fear that you force my hand.
Ugh, well, she does not cut Kane.
I always said, if blood force trauma ain't working for you, wham! You ain't using enough of it.
Are you finished? We are in deep, Kane.
You don't say.
She's possessed. I looked into her soul.
Ah, what are you doing looking at people's souls? It's weird.
I was raised by demons. They were very preoccupied with souls.
She's got a demon in her. You know how demons handle it.
It is not a demon. It is something bigger, something worse. Then we will need her back. Your friend Maggot has made himself a cocoon storm. It leaves him rather vulnerable.
Quentin, end this please. Surrender. This is no longer a contest between us. It's just abuse. You were right. I didn't know what to make of myself back then. But even then, I knew that I didn't want to be you. You know, we might have a lot in common now. But enough talk.
Yeah, how about time you met my attorney?
Attorney?
Something left behind, a trap thought form I picked out of someone's mind. Something I cage and quarantine in my own brain, in case it could be useful, in case you got close. Call it a family reunion, Chuck.
Cassandra Nova! How? Blah! And we see Cassandra Nova come up behind the professor, sticking her hands inside of his face.
You are going to end this now. As you wish. I am not talking to you. I am talking to Oro Monroe. You are going to take back control of your body, Storm. Because you have acted wrongly. People in the city below are hurt, if not dying because of what you've brought near them. So, return and take the responsibility. Or I will drive my sword into the man within this cocoon and kill him. Because this is a lesson I am here to teach. When a being of your power acts wrongly, people die. You have been worshipped as a goddess. Of course, you can imagine being wrong. So let that shame give you power and take control back.
Jump to Professor Xavier hallucinating. He's seeing bugs all over his body and removes his helmet.
Bugs! Bugs! Ah! What?
Shriek, Professor.
The hell took you so long?
He had to remove the helmet himself, Quentin. In that psychic turbulence, there was little I could do but wait.
I won, by the way.
Did you use some manner of dirty trick?
McCoy, of course I did. Stop! I am myself once more. Get your foot off Maggot. Would you really do it, Psylocke? Would you kill an innocent man to punish me? You forget who I was. I've killed more innocent men than some diseases. Goddess you may have been, but we are just monsters. And we are taking this monster with us. If you are unhappy with this arrangement, you know where to find me. I hear you like settling things with knives. I'd be happy to accommodate you. Just monsters? Are you so certain that you are just?
Ugh.
Psylocke to Cyclops, are you awake yet?
Barely. Status.
Mission is complete. We've teleported it a ways down to the beach so as not to land on you.
Mission casualties.
None, but a compromise. We had to promise Storm not to return Charles to Greymuckin. With the resistance to telepathic attack, she was unaware of a psychic bleed. Something extremely strange is happening to her, and Mag as well. I will bear observation.
There's Charles. He's been heavily sedated, but we should be moving. Put the bald man down, Hank. X-Factor has arrived to capture Professor Xavier. We'll take it from here. To be continued in X-Factor number 8. X-Men vs. X-Factor. Next, the town of Merle enlists X-Men to aid in the search and rescue of Operation for a missing child, one closer to the X-Men than the sheriff knows. But while the X-Men search for Piper Cobb, they are themselves being watched as their shadowy adversaries move to strike directly, their own agenda unfolding.